Right, so string handling, functions and procedures. We talk about functions and we talk about procedures. Those are two words that belong to the collective noun called methods. So we have methods that we use in programming, and in this case these are string handling methods. We have string to int, which is a function, int to string, which is a function, string to float, which is a function, and so on, and float to string f and float to string. These are functions because they are on the right hand side of an assignment statement. And they're on the right hand side of the assignment statement. And you use them in the rich edit.lines.add thing. We call them functions. So the red ones are functions. Now you know all of these already. Over here we have new ones. Here's the word length, which will return an integer. And take note, on the left hand side we have I for integer. So the length function has one parameter inside, and that's a string, and it will calculate and return the character number of the very last character, and that is then described as the length in this function name, and we store it in an integer variable. The next function, string handling function, is copy, which returns a string. Copy will go and copy from another string starting at a starting position, as that's an integer number, an integer value there, and I num chars is the number of characters that it will copy. So these words here, you can put variables here or you can have numbers here. When you copy, you have to memorize that there are 3 parameters in the copy function. Then the next function, and remember the functions we call on the right hand side of the equal sign. The next function is pos. Pos returns an integer, and there are 2 parameters in pos. The first one is the small string that we are looking for, and even today grade 11s and 12s will confuse us and put the large string first. The first parameter of the pos function is the small string that we are looking for. The second parameter is the large string in which we are searching. Now you've got to memorize these functions and their parameters and what they mean, and that's the only way you're going to go forward with programming. You have to memorize some things, and this is one of those things that you must memorize, including that. Now, the last 2 string handling methods are procedures. They are in green. Insert and delete. The insert procedure has 3 parameters. The first parameter is the small string we're going to insert. The second parameter is the large string in which we are going to insert. This is why I call it S substring and S main string. The third parameter is the position that we are inserting that string into, the small one. If we want to insert a string into position number 3, then we'll put the string there, and then which main string are we inserting it? That's going to be in the middle. You have to memorize these parameter lists. There's no way around it. Then the delete procedure has 3 parameters. Well, you use delete very often, and copy, and pos, and length. Insert you won't use that often, but delete has the same kind of parameters as copy, except that delete is a procedure and copy is a function. You need to differentiate between these 2. So we delete the first parameter, in other words things in brackets. The first thing is a string called sword. The second parameter is I start pos, which means where we are deleting from. And take note, in the copy function we were had an I start pos, was like where we're copying from. And then I numchars, just like in the copy function, this delete procedure is also saying how many characters are we deleting. So as you can see, there's similarities between copy and delete, except that delete is a procedure and copy is a function. So now we are going to do some activities based on using these methods that I've just described to you in this page.